morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. How we doing? Another day. Another day, another dollar. All right. I just got a Google ad. Morning. Big day. FOMC. Hey, if you're not going to press the like button for me, press it for Jerome Powell, huh? Press it for Jerome Powell today. He needs it. He needs the like. I appreciate that margin. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean it's very important. Sets up that structure every day. Good morning. Is it Day of the Dead? Dia de la Muerte? De los Muertos. Yeah, it is. Day of the Dead. Morning. All right. Let's get started. So, nice day yesterday. Again, not much movement, sort of inside the range again, but some decent action. We got some nice shorts on Nvidia and Tesla off that 400 and 200 level. We talked about that here in the live stream. We talked about that break and retest on Tesla and Nvidia, which did provide a decent opportunity. It wasn't a major move, but it was definitely a tradable move yesterday. But once again, right, the larger picture yesterday was just another demand hold at that 14,300 on the NASDAQ. Another strong hold at that 200 SMA. Another strong hold of that 14.3. So we continue to sort of channel here, which we talked about this on Monday morning. If you guys came to the live stream, right, we said it's a big week, right? FOMC, AMD earnings, Apple earnings. We can't expect too much price action before these large events, right? So yesterday and Monday, pretty silent, some decent, really short scalps, right? So you had to be really quick on a few stocks, a few names, but overall the market has not gone anywhere, right? Which is very common, not surprising one bit. Today, you're moving up into an important supply level, right? That 14,500, 14,600 level we've been eyeing. So this could get interesting. Do I expect us to get any really nice trades before 2 o'clock today? No, I don't. I don't expect too much before 2 o'clock today. I don't expect the market to make any type of major moves into FOMC, right? The market will likely remain balanced before that 2 o'clock time, 2 o'clock, 2:30. So is this a great morning to be trading before 2 o'clock? Probably not. But is there potential for some scalps out there? Sure. If you're precise, if you really have a game plan and watching some levels, sure, there'll be some trades out there. But overall, I would say the market stays pretty silent until that 2 o'clock today. Yeah. And it's interesting, right? Because what happens on FOMC today is then followed by a Apple earnings tomorrow. So there's a lot of input going into the market, right? The next 2 days, there's so many inputs, sort of deciding the next market moves. It's gonna get maybe a little bit difficult to read. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit all over the place. So I would say in the overall grand scheme of things, protection, right? Protection. There's gonna be weeks that have less crazy inputs, right? There's gonna be weeks that have probably cleaner price action, better opportunities. So just a little bit cautious, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong to be cautious as a trader, risk adverse as a trader when you have some major events approaching. So that's how I'm approaching today. Here's the schedule. It's pretty much the same thing as always, right? The same stocks we watch every single day. We try to trade these names off the key levels, right? And I think it's very key. I hope some of you guys are catching on to this, right? I can make this schedule that I talk about every day without even looking at the charts, right? I know exactly where Meta is. I know where Nvidia is. I know where AMD is. I know where Tesla is. I know where Apple is, right? I know where all these stocks are without. If I went out to the bar tonight and someone said, "What's Tesla doing?" or "Where's Apple trading?" right? I could answer that and I could draw out a chart for them off the top of my head. And I think that is very key, right? For some of you that maybe are trading these stocks rather than, going to all these different stocks on a daily basis. Learn a nice set of maybe 5-10 stocks, watch them on a daily basis, understand their price action, understand how they move, right? And sort of get an experience by watching these. I think it's very important. All right, so let's pull up the economic calendar. I really don't think it needs any type of introduction. I think you guys should all know that FOMC is today. If you don't know that FOMC is today, then you probably should close down your broker. You should close down your charts, and you should go do something else, okay? If this is the first that you're hearing of FOMC today, if you saw my title of my live stream and you said, "Oh shit, FOMC's today," I would say click that button, close it down, close everything down, get off the stream, go somewhere else, okay? Because it's not good to just wake up today and get that emotion going and start trying to trade without any type of game plan. All right, so here we go. 8:15 this morning, right? ADP employment. We'll see if there's any movement in about 8 minutes here. I don't expect too much. PMI 945, job opening. So be careful around this. Maybe like 10 to 12 today could be a good trading time, right? Maybe around that 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. time could be sort of a time to look for some trades. Because maybe you get a little bit of volatility off this 9:45, 10 o'clock data. But make sure you're aware of that, right? Into this morning, watch out for 9:45, right? This PMI. Watch out for job openings at 10, ISM manufacturing at 10, construction spending at 10. Just be careful of that as we're trading intraday, right? There might be some volatility on the markets around that time. Then, obviously, the big event, 2 o'clock. There's always two moves, right? There's always maybe an upside, downside move, downside, upside move. There's always a little bit of dance going on around this 2 to 2:30, right? And then between 2 o'clock and 2:30, it's sort of like the eye of the storm, right? It's sort of like the eye of a hurricane where everything gets sort of quiet for about 30 minutes, and then it starts to wake up again at 2:30. So my honest opinion, guys, which I'll always be completely honest with you, sure, right, you're going to catch potentially in your lifetime, in your trading career, some huge moves during this time, some very large profits, some very nice trades. I just like the long-term game. I like the consistency game. I like the being able to see the same thing over and over again. And I just don't really get that excited, right, to trade these events. It's just not, I try to, be a part of that group that's, like catching these big moves at these big events, but I just can't get behind it, right? That's just not who I am. I like consistency. I'm very risk adverse. I don't like losing money. I'm like the most risk adverse trader. Obviously I do risk money on a daily basis, but I just don't like getting out of my comfort zone. So for me, this 2 o'clock move, this 2:30 move, it's just not really my style. It would just sort of be chasing the shiny object, in my opinion. But hey, I'm not going to hate on anyone's ability to trade during this time, right? There's definitely moves. If you're very precise, there's definitely some big money to make, right? I've seen it. I've done it myself at times. So it's definitely possible, right? But I try to speak for maybe some of the newer traders out there, because I know a lot of you experienced traders that watch the stream can probably make their own, right? They can probably make their own game plans, and they can, do their own thing. They can manage their own trades. But, for some of the newer people that watch the stream that, don't really trade too often, don't go online. Don't go on in social media and just get excited to trade 2 o'clock, 2:30 today. Don't just get all hyped up because of FOMC, right? if you don't have a game plan during this time, if you're just buying options based off of something during 2:30, you're going to get crushed, man. It's going to happen. You're going to get absolutely crushed. If you have a game plan, if you're an experienced trader, then, don't listen to me. But that's just my forewarning, right? It's not a great time to just be throwing out these positions without a very precise plan, right? All right. So that's that. That's my little talk for you today. You guys obviously understand your own risk. You're all grown adults. So you have to do your own thing at the end of the day. 8:30 jobless claims tomorrow. And then we'll get into this tomorrow. But obviously today is the big event at 2:00. All right. Earnings calendar, really just Apple tomorrow, guys. Let me go ahead and pull this up, though, because we do have some stuff after hours today that we could be, paying attention to. So here's the earnings calendar. Today after close, we have PayPal, Roku, Qualcomm, Airbnb, Etsy, right? Tomorrow, Palantir, Shopify in the morning. And then obviously the big stuff is Apple, right? The big stuff tomorrow is Apple. That's the big one. That's the big event for the earnings side. All right. So let's just jump right into it, guys. Let's jump right into it. And you guys know where we're starting. We're starting on the NASDAQ futures. And I still believe, right? I still believe, and this is still looking the right way, right? This is still looking correct for my analysis, that the NASDAQ futures will come up and retest the 14.6. I also believe that there will be a lot of traders who get potentially completely faked out into an upside move into 14.6, right? People that are not paying attention to this 14.6 level. Guys, this is no joke of a level here, and I would be very careful getting too aggressive to the upside before we see what happens at 14.6. Let me zoom in on this 4-hour chart, right? This is a 4-hour chart. There is some major previous reactions here. So here's 14.6 right here. This is back in May of 2023, right? See this low and you see this low. Two very major lows at 14.6, right? Very major. Now, let's zoom over. Let's go to this right here. Look at this. 14.6, right? This is September. 14.6. This is early October. And we can see, right, if we start to trade back into that level, which I would sort of expect here, this could be a very nasty fake out, right? And I would be very careful of that. It is very easy here to structure your idea. It is easy. And I'm not going to say it's not, because if you're paying attention, it's easy. As long as the NASDAQ is under 14.6, there is risk of a push and a major rejection. So I would stay cautious on upside as long as you're under 14.6. It's very easy to have that mindset and stick to it. If the NASDAQ today or tomorrow or any day in the future gets over 14.6 and starts to hold that level, that is where you can look for upside, right? That is very easy structure there. If you get back above this low, if you get back above this low, if you get back above this low and this low, a quadruple bottom low on the 4-hour chart over the last 6 months, right? That's a big 6-month long quadruple bottom at 14.6. If you get back above that level and you start to see some wick step up, right? See this wick here? See this wick here? See how he came down, wicked up and held, came down, wicked up and held? If you see that start to form here, that is where you can take upside, right? That is where you can take that upside trade. Until then, you have to be cautious of this just being a break, a very slow upside, very weak upside, and a major rejection, right? That is still so possible here. Even the reason why I'm still very confident in that idea is because the manner of the way we've moved higher, right? Look at this move higher. This is a dead move higher. This is skeleton crew right here. I mean, it's like this slow grind to the upside that I believe anyone that's long here, right, the first sign of weakness is going to spook them out of that trade, right? And that could get very aggressive. So it's a pretty easy sort of, it's pretty easy to structure your ideas here. For me, as long as we're under that gold zone, I think this market stays weak. And I will look for rejections at 14.5. I will look for rejections at 14.6, right? If the NASDAQ proves me, I wouldn't say proves me wrong, but if the NASDAQ flips above 14.6 and we start to hold above it, then I need to be, as a trader, I need to have the ability to flip my mindset to the upside, right? If you cannot flip your mindset and you continue to short, right? If you say, oh man, this market should go down, it has to go down. If you continue to short a market that is holding 14.6, you are going to continue to lose, right? If you are holding 14.6, you cannot be bought. You cannot look short bias. If you are under 14.6, I think you can remain on that short bias, shorting the pops, shorting the moves. Now, of course, right, you're not going to be shorting moves in FOMC because that could get you absolutely railed. But look for those weakness. Look for that weakness to step in at these levels. I think 14.6 is a very easy way to structure your mindset here on the market. Now, if we zoom in a little bit more on the hourly chart, the next level I would be watching today is 14.5. All right, 14.5, 14.5, and you can see the double top rejection that's coming in at 14.5 this morning, right? 14.5, 14.5, 14.5, and 14.5. So if you reject 14.5 today, be careful of that weakness. If you get above 14.5, I would expect that to be the move into 14.6, right? I would expect us to, if we break above 14.5, if we hold above 14.5, I would expect that to be the move into 14.6. And then that's where the party starts, right? This is where the party starts, up here at 14.6. So, interesting today, right? You can see this slow grind to the upside. You can see the demand that steps up at 14.3, right? If you're going to short today, I would look for shorts here, right? For a move, maybe a move into around this 14.3 area, but you have to be a profit taker down here. You have to be a profit taker down here. All right, if you were not a profit taker on puts over the last 2 days at 14.3, what happened? You lost, right? If you were not a profit taker on puts at 14.3 Monday, if you were not a profit taker on puts at 14.3 yesterday, you lost money, right? You lost money. So if you do take puts today off 14.5, you better be a profit taker at 14.3. And if you don't, it's your fault. And if you break above 14.5, right, and you hold above it, that's your upside into 14.6. All right? That's how I'm looking at the NASDAQ today. I think it's a very clean game plan. I'm very excited to see what happens here. QQQ, pretty much the same thing. I think, hold on, let me make sure of this. Yeah, okay. This is that retest level that I'm sort of watching here on the Qs. I'm actually going to turn this gold just to make this obvious. Okay, and then this is our 351, 350 red zone, which has been very tough here on the market. So, hourly chart, QQQ, right? Remember we created this $1 zone yesterday? We said how it could be up into 351. Well, it sure as hell was up into 351. So, you guys can see right here, 351 lows, 350, 351 rejections here, rejection here, rejection here. Yesterday, rejections at 351, double top at 351, right? And then the QQQ this morning, a little bit of a pop candle there, but you're starting to reject that 351, 350 again. So today, right? Today, you're watching to see what happens at 351 on the QQQ. 350, 351. That's a heavy supply up there. And if the QQQ cannot break above that 351, then I would expect there to be weakness, right? If the QQQ cannot break above that 351 here, I would expect there to be weakness. Now, that weakness can move us back into the double bottom lows. 347, 347. That's Monday's lows, and that's Tuesday's lows. If you're not a profit taker on puts today at 347, that is your own fault if you lose, right? Because you're not paying attention to technical levels. So if you do short 350, 351 today, your target should only be to 347, right? If you get under 347 and you hold below it, then your target is 344, right? If you move under 344 and you turn it into rejections, then your target is the lows at 342, right? But you have to be cautious of the bounces off these levels if you are short, right? I hope you're sort of understanding how I structure these moves, right? I hope that watching these streams makes sense to understand the mindset at these levels, right? The mindset at these levels. So, am I going to walk in today and think for anything to the upside? Hell no, right? Why would I be thinking long here into a quadruple top major supply on the QQQ, right? If the market opened right where it was right now, there is absolutely no reason to even consider a long on anything on the stock market, because you would be longing into the same damn level that rejected on Thursday of last week, on on Wednesday of last week, on Monday of this week, double top, yesterday a rejection, right? You're not going to long into that level. There's absolutely no reason, right? So the only play that's potentially setting up as of right now is a short into 347, right? That's the only trade that's valid as of right now, right? And if you get above 351, then you can look for that upside, maybe towards that 354, right? That's if you get a hold above yesterday's double top at 351. That's an if, right? That's not a for sure. So if you get above 351 today, look for that upside. If you reject 350, 351, you're looking for that downside into 347. All right. ES. You guys see this level over here? This, it's really like 42.10, 42.15. Yeah, it's right there at 42.15. All right, see this? This previous low? That's the exact level that rejected yesterday, 42.15. So a little bit of adjusting on the ES, right? It's necessary to adjust at times. And it looks like we have to adjust this ES chart just a little bit. This 42.15 previous low, also these highs right here, turned into a rejection late day yesterday on the ES futures. So if the ES is below 42.15 today, you have to be cautious of longing into that level, right? If the ES can break and hold over 42.15, then that's where I think you get your move into 42.50, right? Into 42.50. So if you get above 42.15, right? If you get above this high, then I would look for that move into 42.50. That would be that upside move that I would try to catch in this area of low volume, basically this straight down move. That's if you get above yesterday's highs. If you turn previous day highs into support, right, and you start to see some maintain there, then you look for that upside into that 42.50. If you stay under 42.15 today and you start to see rejections at yesterday highs, then it's likely you maybe trade back into that 41.80 demand, right? And that 41.80 held very nicely yesterday intraday. So 41.80, 42.15, right? I think those are the two levels you're watching today. I think that's the channel to be watching, right? And of course, you guys have to understand if you are educated in terms of what happens today. And if you don't, right, if you don't understand that technical analysis could be invalidated at 2 o'clock, then I recommend you definitely don't trade at 2 o'clock, right? The analysis that we're doing now can remain valid at 2:30 today, but it could also be heavily invalidated, right? FOMC can 100% invalidate technicals, and this is another reason, right, why I don't like to trade during this time, because I trade off technical levels, right? That's what I do. That's my trading system. Why would I trade during a period that could invalidate these levels, right? What's the point of risking my hard-earned money during a time where my strategy becomes less efficient, right? There's no reason. You got to think like this, right? You got to think like this. You got to think strategically here. This is not, right? Trading is not, let me throw my $1,000 in my trading account and start throwing darts at the wall until something that didn't look good, did it? That didn't look good. Let's not just start throwing darts at the wall with our $2,000 in our Robinhood account, right? That's not going to get us anywhere, guys. Okay? Why did 95% of traders fail? Because 95% of the traders do the same thing over and over again. That's what everyone does, right? $2,000 in the Robinhood account. Let's start throwing trades around. We lose it. Let's do it again. $2,000 in the Robinhood account. We trade it. We do it random shit. We lose it, right? It's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. We got to stay strategic. We got to focus. We got to really lock in, right? So 42.15, right? 41.80, that's our levels on the ES. Someone definitely screenshotted that, or someone will. All right, SPY. So, SPY 419. I think that's the big level above. Let me go ahead and zoom out here. That's good, man. That's good. That's funny. 419 on the 4-hour chart. So right here, right? You guys see this 419, right? You see this 419 area here. I think you're trading into that 419 level, and you could see some potential rejections there. Now, it's not only 419 here. It looks to be around that 417 as well. Let me go ahead and zoom in here on 30 minute. Okay, 30-minute chart, right? I'm interested to see what happens at this 417 today, right? This is sort of interesting. You see this right here, 417, 417. See that little reaction there, the previous lows into rejections? Look at what's happening here. So yesterday pre-market, right? Yesterday morning, we rejected 417, right? So we have 417, 417. Yesterday morning, 417 rejection. Now, what happened in the after hours on 417 on the SPY, right? Look at this. You can see a break. You can see a hold at 417. However, as of right now, we are potentially turning that level back into a rejection point. So, in my opinion, this is going to be your very short-term level to watch this morning. If you see this morning, if you see some reactions of downside off 417, I think you can trade that move, right? Early morning. I think that could be an early morning trade. The 417 level, that's what I would be watching here in the morning on SPY, right? If you get back under yesterday's morning highs and you start to reject it, which you're starting to see here, if you start to see something like this, right, then I would potentially look for that short. If you get above 417, then I would not be looking short, right? I would not be looking short. I would be looking for if you get above 417 and it holds, right, it's probably going to push towards that 419. Okay? So 417, 419, those are my two immediate levels here on the SPY. And then, of course, we're obviously watching the demand lows from yesterday, right? Demand lows 414. That was a very clear hold yesterday at 414. So 414 demand, right? That's yesterday lows. 417, right? That's your supply that I would be watching, right? That is this low, this high, and this yesterday high. And if we get stuck under that level, right? If we get stuck under that level at 417 today, could be something to watch, right? But we have to be watching price action. We got to watch price action there, right? Trading is not as easy as, oh, short 417, it's going to 414, I'm going to win money, right? You got to, I hope, I try to provide the levels, but there is a lot more to it, guys, right? There's not just hey, Desi said 417 rejections, I'm in SPY puts, right? That's not trading, okay? That's not going to make you successful. You're going to have to say, okay, Desi said watch 417. Let me really lock in and watch what the price action does here. Let me start to understand the movement that's happening at this level and try to read the reactions, read the price action. All right. Man, 1,800 people here, 600 likes. You guys are bad. All right. Enjoy your ads. Enjoy your ads. I'm going to spam that ad button while I drink my coffee. People must have not liked my dart reference today. All right. So we got data here, I think. Do we have data at 8:30? No, I think we had ADP at 8:15. Oh, yeah, we got Treasury quarterly refunding statement. Treasury quarterly refunding statement. Let's see if that moves the market at all. Yeah, a little bit of a pop there. Meaningless, right? Meaningless pop, but a pop. Everything is meaningless to the upside unless we get over 14.5 today, guys, right? That's how you have to think of this. Anything that's to the upside that's not above 14.5 is meaningless, okay? If you get above 14.5, then you take action, right? Then you can take your action. But you're not going to long into 14.5, right? You're not going to start taking long positions into a rejection that is clear as day right here. You're not going to start to long this and then see this happen. Okay, that is beginner trading 101. That is retail chasing 101. You are only long if you get a hold above that rejection point. Then you can take a confident entry. All right. So a little bit of a pop there on NASDAQ. Not much, man. Nothing that changes the story here. So we'll see. Let me know if it gets above 14.5. If we get above 14.5, then maybe we can watch for that upside today, but that not until then. All right, Tesla. So Tesla, nice reclaim of 200 yesterday, guys, right? We got that 200 rejection. If you watched my live trade yesterday, we traded this rejection right here. This was the 200 break and retest that we were talking about. All right, that was what we talked about in the live stream. We said watch for the pop and then the rejection at 200. And it did the exact thing that we said yesterday. So really nice there. Really nice trade. Just textbook technicals, right? You're always going to get that retest. And that was a very nice retest indeed. Now, after rejecting that 200, we got back above. We held above, right? And we maintained that 200 level today. So today, right, as long as Tesla's over 200, I do not think it is in your best interest to short Tesla, right? I don't think it is in your best interest to short Tesla today into 200. I just don't think the risk reward is there, right? There is much more upside squeeze potential than there is short side into 200, right? I don't think that's worth your time today. So there might be a little rejection like at this 203 level for downside back into 200, but I don't think getting 3 points of downside is worth the potential of getting a squeeze against you on a hold above 200. So just understand that, right? A lot of shorts that were in under 200 are underwater this morning. They're hoping that it moves back lower, right? They're doing the whole I'm in Tesla puts. I'm hoping it drops today. Yeah, I would be careful of that, all right? I'd be careful. John, get John out of the chat. Get him out. Get him out. Just annoying, man. Just annoying. It's like I hate people that think they know what's going to happen. It's like such a toxic stupidity trait. To think that you know what's going to happen on the market is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I don't want to hear, right? You have to stay open to both sides. If you think you know what's going to happen on the market, you're going to get your ass beat, right, by the market. So 203.50, right, on Tesla. You guys can see right here, previous lows, right? That's an interesting area, right? That's an interesting area. 203, watching it. If we get market upside, I think I'm more interested in the long off 200, right? I think I'm more interested in the long off 200. That's really, I think, the better trade. But on the flip side, right, longing Tesla off 200 into FOMC, into Apple earnings, right? It's right? It's really not like, hey, I want to go long into this that aggressively. So I will say, right, that hold above 200, that's really where I'm going to leave you off on Tesla. I'm just going to leave you off by saying I think the hold above 200 is very important, right? And I would not be biased short into that level. That's what I'll say, right? I would say that I would not be looking for rejections back into 200 today. I don't think that's worth your time, right? I would rather look to see if we can long near that 200 level, right? Long near that 200 level. Okay, that's what I'd be watching on Tesla today. But I would also just warn you of some of these rejection points above, right? So just be careful of that 203.50 and be careful of that 206. Yeah, something must be ripping because Tesla's ripping. All right, 42.15. I think we're going to get that move. I think we're going to get that move towards that 14.6, man. That's still where I think you're going to go before FOMC. That's that big level, right? That's that big level. That's that big level. So, yeah, 14.5. It's going to be a fun watch today, right? It's going to be fun today. We're going to have to, this is going to be where the decisions are made, right here at 14.5. It's not above 14.5, guys, right? It's not there yet. Don't front run it, right? This is right? This is it, right? This is what fucks people up because they get a push into a supply, they get all juiced up, and then this shit happens, right? You need to stay patient. This is where you need to lock in the most, right? This move and this reaction, this is where you need to lock in. This is where you cannot be emotional. Having emotion here will wreck you, right? And this is where, right, it's a key level. This is where markets get interesting. This is where edges are provided. But you cannot get anxious at that level, right? Because look, it's above 14.5, long, bam, dead, right? If you just long the NASDAQ over 14.5 here, and I mean, you instantly lost 10, 15 points, right? So you have to really stay patient. Wait for it to really show you what's going to happen there. Wait for it to really hold above, right? Don't long into that level. Wait for it to hold above that level. Wait for it to show you some support above, right? Wait for that confirmation. That's what's going to save you from taking these stupidity longs that are probably blowing up your trading accounts, right? So you can see, look at the rejection that just came in. That's very key. And that could be something that creates downside today, right? Think about this. Think about this logically for a second. You just got a big pop into this move. A big pop into supply. You got FOMC in about, I don't know, what is that? 5 hours, right? Is the market really going to rally into FOMC? I don't know. I would be cautious of thinking that, right? Could the market just come back into balance today before 2 o'clock? That's very possible, right? So be aware of those things. Make sure you're paying attention to that stuff. All right. Nvidia. I'm very interested in this long off 400, man. I would, if I could see some upside on the market today, if I could get that feeling that the market's actually going to move higher, if I could start to get that 14.5 break, that 14.5 hold, if I could get that 14.6, right? If I can start to see those holds and those strong moves in the market, Nvidia could be providing, one of the better long opportunities of the last few days at this 400, right? This we know is a major level for Nvidia, and a break of this level would cause some serious downside. So as of right now, I mean, I can't help but think that Nvidia is attempting to try some type of an upside move off of 400, right? I can't help but think that there could be something that, right, pushes off 400. So if I can get some of that market continuation, then I would love to try to trade that with a stop under 400. But it's just not there yet, right? The market's not showing me that yet. The market is still remaining weak, right? There's little pops intraday, but nothing really holds up. So I'm not really interested in getting involved yet. But this reclaim of 400 yesterday is very interesting, right? And I would consider this 400 level as something, I would consider watching this and sort of keeping an eye on what happens at 400. If we get a pop maybe above 412 and sort of break this channel, right, then I think you could probably take that long. So I'm going to watch this, man. I'm interested, and I'm interested in this 400 demand. I am. Yesterday, we traded the break and retest, which was very nice. We traded that break and retest. You guys see it right here, right? This was that break and retest. Break, retest, rejection, right? That was our trade yesterday. Ultimately, if you held on to it, if you bag hold that trade, then you lost, right? But we take profits into moves, got back above 400, and then look at this, right? Look at this all day, all afternoon. Holding 400 all afternoon, right? So that's very nice, and it's still maintaining above it. So I would not be short Nvidia today. That's the last thing I want to do, right? I'm not going to be looking to short Nvidia into 400. I don't think that's a good idea at all. So I'm more interested to see, can I get a feeling of strength on Nvidia? Can I get it maybe above 412? And can I look long off that 400 demand? That's really what I'm more interested in. All right, Apple, I'm just going to show you where Apple is. I'm not going to recommend any trades on Apple because you do have earnings tomorrow, but I figured this is a smart thing to be paying attention to, guys. Apple is still stuck under this 200 SMA. So something I just wanted to point out, you guys can clearly see the supply that continues to step up around this 170 level and this 200 SMA. So how would I use Apple for my advantage, right? How I would use Apple here is I would watch it and I would use it as a proxy to the market, right? If Apple can break over 171, if it can hold above the 200, right, then I think the market can get freed up a little bit. That's how I would be looking at Apple, right? That's how I would be looking at Apple. Is Apple above the 200? Is it above 171? If yes, then maybe we can see upside. If no, then I would be careful of those rejections still. All right? Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Google. So we got a little bit of our rejection yesterday, and I took my profits on the Google swing trade, so that was very nice, right? Remember we were talking about this 126 level supply. We got a very nice downside and took my profits yesterday, which I'm very happy about. We held that 124 demand. So at this point, right, I'm no longer too interested in Google downside unless we're under 124, right? That is very clear. So now you could look for that supply move again, right? But I'm a little bit more confident on a break and hold under 124, right? That would really set up the downside for me. So 124 on Google, that's your demand. And then you have a bunch of rejections up here around 120. I'm actually going to move this up to 126.50 just to be safe, right? For myself, my own sake. So 126.50 is really where that supply starts to step up, right? So I'm not interested in trading it in the middle, but I will be looking for this, right? I'll be looking for maybe this, or, right, I'll be looking for that break and hold below, or even, right, or even that break and hold above, right? So right now I have the channel. I've created my Google channel. I know the levels, and now it's my job to just execute, right? Now that's my job. But at least I have my plan, right? I know supplies here. I know demands here. I know that if Google's here, I'm not going to short. I'm not going to short. I know if Google's here, I'm not going to long, right? So I can start to sort of get an idea of where I'm looking for the reactions on Google and what directions I'm potentially looking for. 126.50, 124, that's what I'd be watching on Google. Microsoft, I think I had Microsoft, right? Yeah. And Amazon. Amazon's interesting. Microsoft, this 4-hour level is going to be big, guys, right? This 4-hour level is going to be big. I don't think you're going to see... I think Microsoft is no longer a tradable stock. That's my first opinion, guys. Microsoft, probably one of the most shitty intraday tradable stocks. There are moves intraday, but when I look at this chart, I can't help but get agita by looking at this chart, right? I mean, it is not good, right? There's no fluidity here. It's just, look at this chop, man. This is disgusting. So, first of all, I would say take Microsoft maybe down to like a do not trade list or maybe a sometimes trade list. That's the first thing I would say. But this 341 level is very interesting, right? Look at this 341 level. It's a pretty interesting level. You got 4-hour rejections, 4-hour rejections here, a major 4-hour rejection here, and you're trading right back into it, right? And if we go into the 15-minute chart and we get a little bit more time here, right? Look at the reactions that happened here at 341 in the past, right? Or even just over the last few days. Support, and then look at right here. See this double top rejection, right? At 341. So, yeah, right? This could be an interesting spot for Microsoft. So just watch that 341. That's all I'm going to say on Microsoft. That's going to be your big level. Amazon and Meta. Amazon, 133. So if Amazon can get above this 133, which it looks like it is right now, I'm not too confident in longing it above 133. I'm still going to be looking for the supply in this zone, right? Does Amazon wick up, right? If I see a wick here on Amazon and we move back below 133 here, this could get very interesting. You can see Amazon is just flatlining at this supply here near 133, 134.50. So this whole $1.5, right, this whole $1.50 range between 133 and 133.50, I think could get heavy. And I would be watching to see what happens in this red zone. If you get any breakdown under this 100 SMA, right, if you get a breakdown under this 100 that's holding around 130, 170, and you get that supply rejection, this could get sort of interesting here. On the flip side, right, on the flip side, if you can get above 134.50, that could be a nice, strong continuation move for upside. If you get a break and holds above this 134.50, that could be a very strong continuation move for upside if the market obviously is showing us upside. So nice level here on Amazon. Very interested to see what happens up here. This is a big zone. Meta, I think you can watch this 310. There's 300 level, but I would be cautious of 310. That's all I'll say, right? 310 looks pretty heavy on Meta. And you can see, as of right now, it's holding 300, right? That 300 level is holding pretty damn well. But just be cautious of being long into 310, right? We can definitely see the weakness that steps up at that 310. So if you want a long Meta, you're going to have to long it near that 300. You're going to want to long it near that 100 SMA, and you're going to want to be a profit taker into that 310 move, right? If you are interested in the long on the 300 demand hold. You can see it sort of holding, right? Very nice hold there at 300 so far, and that 100 SMA. So if the market shows upside, is there a potential long off 300 on Meta? Absolutely. All right, I would watch that 300 for that long into 310, or I would also look for the break and hold below, because that would be a pretty major break on Meta. We'll go Costco. Costco, I'm down on my swing trade still, but I still do like it, right? You can see where we are still below that 50 SMA. We're sort of battling that trend line. Here's sort of where I'm going to take my loss on Costco. It's at that 556. It's like this, right in this wick high. Let me zoom in here on the hourly chart. It's right here, right? This is where I think Costco invalidates. It's right above this high and that 50 SMA right here, right? That 557 level is sort of that invalidation level for me on Costco. As long as Costco's under this level, I think there still is potential weakness. You can see right here, previous high and previous high from yesterday or 2 days ago, right? So I'm going to stay in Costco as long as it's under 557. I have some next week contracts, so I have a little bit of time, and I'm going to look for that downside move. Now, the problem here is I think that 100 SMA might hold on, right? I think that might be the problem. That might be the problem. That 100 SMA might hold on, and if it does, then I'll probably end up taking a loss here. So 557 on Costco, sort of that ultimate stop. AMD, it's holding 96, man. 96, pretty nice hold. It really respected technicals even on earnings, right? Look at this. It respected the technicals. I mean, I did not put this level on my chart after earnings. Right? Look at this. Bam. Bam. Right? Huge move right off our technical level, which is pretty wild, actually. Right? To see the earnings respect that technical level so well. And then bam, right back into supply, coming back down. Look at that 96 hold, right? These levels were on our chart yesterday. Let me see if I can. Did I chart AMD yesterday? Let's see. I don't think I did because there was earnings. Yeah, actually here, this is 2 days ago. Look at this. 2 days ago, AMD, right? Look at this chart. That's 96. That's the 93.40 level right there. 96, 93.40. And these two levels, look how well those were respected. That's crazy. So nice respect on the AMD levels. So today, you're watching this 99.50, 100 level, right? Right here. 99.50. And you got, yeah, I mean, this is really what you should be watching. The 100 is right at the 200 SMA, right? $100 a share is the 200 SMA. So watch out right there, right? That's the big level. All right, guys. NASDAQ 14.5. That's the big stuff here, guys, right? You can see that there's a little bit of a reaction here. Now, does this mean that this is for sure downside? No, right? That's not what this means. But you can see why we're not chasing longs into this level, right? This has already shown you why you cannot be chasing longs into the level. If you were long, let's say, off yesterday's lows, right, this is beautiful. Or if you were long on this little 14.4 hold, right, that's beautiful. But we're not going to be now long. If you miss this move, then you need to accept that you missed the move. I'm actually going to put my line back at 14.4 because I did take it off. There is some, as you guys know, we've been watching that 14.4 level in the chat. So there's that sort of intermediary level at 14.4. Yeah, 14.5, right? That's your level today, guys. That's your level. You can clearly see it. You got to get above this. You got to hold above it. If we can look for that morning upside. That's a big if. And look at that, guys, right? Can't make it up. 42.15. Netflix is a mess, guys. Netflix is just, I mean, it's the same thing. We talked about it previous, 407, right? Look at that hold. 406, 407, still holding. 100 SMA. Very nice. All right, that's all I got. If you guys could, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Some very clear levels to be watching today, guys. 14,500 on the NASDAQ, 42.15 on the ES. Look for those breaks and holds above for upside. If you get that, you can take that trade. Until then, don't chase into supply. If we see rejections there should be no surprise. Trade the levels. Wait for the reaction. Let the market show you the reactions. You don't need to anticipate before the market actually shows you the potential reactions, right? Wait for some wicks. Look for some rejections. Look for some type of a weakness there or some type of a strong wick up, right? Wait for that candle to wick off that level. Continue to see those buyers stepping up. Wait for it, right? And then react. But if you wait for it and then react and then it sort of flips on you, that's okay, right? That's trading. If I try to short something, right, and I see a rejection, if I see some wicks at a certain supply and I take that short, you know, it's going to work at times. Sometimes it's going to fake me out, and that's okay, right? But at least you took a structured trade. You knew where your stop loss was. This is the type of thing we need to get in the habit of. All right? Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Good luck today. I hope I don't see anyone lose their ass today at 2 o'clock. So be smart. Protect your capital. There's going to be days of good price action without the uncertainty of economic events, okay? You've seen it in the past. There are days of good price action, tradable price action, profitable price action without the uncertainty of economic events, right? That is definitely something on the market, and you don't need to expose yourself if you don't want to, right? Stay protected. This is a long game. It's a long game. All right, guys. Have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.